sister's a therapist and I tell jokes. We both want to help all kinds of folks.
Hello, and welcome to My Sister's a Therapist. My name is Virginia Jones. I'm not the sister who's a therapist. I'm a stand-up comedian. But let me introduce you to licensed marriage and family therapist, Laura Ryan.
Hello, I'm Laura Ryan, licensed marriage and family therapist. But my main credit is sister to Laugh Captain, Virginia Jones.
Laura, first of all, we've crossed over to the promised land, which is, for us,
Passing away?
we have died. If you hear this podcast,
We're
we
from the
have died.
afterworld. We hope you're enjoying it.
The crossover we have done is over 30,000 downloads.
We're basically #nailing it in the download game. So thank you very much to our listeners.
We want to thank every single one of those downloads, even the guy that lives at my mom's community who doesn't think we're special.
He thinks we're just whatever. We've had a bit of an international upset in terms of our listenership.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Our number one is US, as always. Number two is Turkey.
Well, hi, Turkey.
UK, number three. Canada, come on, number four. And Bangladesh is our fifth listenership, which I found very interesting.
Once again, New Zealand beating Australia. And I know two people in Australia personally.
Well, New Zealand is also a much smaller country than Australia. So what's happening?
What's the haps there?
US number one, Turkey number two, UK number three, Canada number four, Bangladesh number five, New Zealand number six, Australia number seven, Norway number eight, Germany number nine, France number 10. And then we have Russia. I didn't know we had Russian listeners.
All I have to say is, Australia, get your act together.
Australia, Canada, come on. Turkey's beating you? What's happening here?
Not many Canadians. I don't know how hot we are in Canada.
They're our northern neighbors. And they speak English. What the heck? I'm pretty sure the Turkish don't speak English as their main language.
Not the same percentage as the Canadians. That's true. When I went to Turkey last year, and before I went, the biggest question people had for me was, don't the Turkish people get confused about turkey, the bird? And the answer to that question, I'm going to clear it out right now, is no.
The Turkish people get confused about whether they're turkeys?
The Turkish don't call a turkey a turkey. The turkey is called that because we thought it was from Turkey.
What?
Turkish word for turkey is Hindi, which means Indian, because they kind of got confused about India and the New World. And they were like, well, this bird is from India.
You call a Turkish turkey Hindi?
Mm-hmm.
Like the language?
Yes. Because when Columbus went to the New World, he was trying to get to Asia. He thought he was in India.
So this is why we call indigenous people Indians, because Christopher Columbus doesn't understand how geography works.
Christopher Columbus was a genocidal MF.
It might have also been blind.
Just when he was looking at the map. I'm glad he lost his holiday. Screw that guy.
So Virginia, what's our topic today?
Great question. There's a lot of advice on TikTok, online, and I want to talk about bad dating advice. Years ago, and I almost forgot this, I used to write for a website called Love TV, and it's at lovetv.co, but I believe it's behind a paywall now. I would write dating and relationship advice, which was amazing because I was a divorced person who had very weird luck in relationships. I actually think that this job was the genesis of My Sister's a Therapist, because I did an article that was an interview with you about why men send very specific self-portraits to women.
Oh, you mean like paintings, oil paintings?
More something like a quick, little snapshot.
Etchings?
I wish they would send etchings. Hilariously, the biggest note that my boss would give me when I turn stuff in is, do you think you can be more positive?
Could you try being a little more upbeat?
I don't have a lot of nice things to say. I wrote a ton of articles, some of which have become episodes like The Friend Zone, What's Wrong with Online Dating, Dating Through the Generations. I asked you, do you believe that crotch shots from men could be linked to a biological urge to indicate sexual interest to women? And what's hilarious is that I thought this fact was one that I looked up, and I've written a whole joke around it. But it is a fact that I got from you. And you said, most of our sexual urges are linked to biology. Other mammals publicly display their sexual interest, and we have gotten away from that with the advent of clothing and the creation of polite society. If you are a chimpanzee or a bonobo, you probably display your genitals to get female attention. And that works when females are in estrus.
Sounds pretty smart. Let's give this girl a job.
And then in the article, you say, as I've told you many times, let's get you scheduled with a therapist.
How long ago was that?
This article was published in 2016.
It only took you another 9 years to get
Another
there.
9 years from there. Laura says, the digital age has taken down all these barriers, and now I can view my photo in the privacy of my own home, use the right angles, correct imperfections, and send the same picture out to as many women as I want. And I said, oh my God, do you think they're face tuning their genitals?
The dongs.
And you said, I am absolutely certain of it.
Yes. 100% they're dong tuning.
We've always been great. Laura's always been smart. We've always been funny. The New Yorker has a segment called The Cut, which is kind of like dating and relationships. And the article was called 50 Texts That Will Get a Reply.
Is this for men to write?
This is for women who are being breadcrumbed or ghosted.
Oh, I see.
And it made me very sad because when a man has formed the intention to be unreliable,
And discard you.
the idea that women are like, what can I do?
I was going to say, you really only need to write one text, which is please don't contact me again.
I'm blocking you, catch you on the flip flop.
You're not that interested, and I'm not interested in people who aren't interested in me.
A lot of them are sexy. What are you wearing? You looked hot last night. Last night was fun.
Oh, so like if you've gone on a date with someone and they're
Not
ghosting.
writing back.
Oh, no. No, the answer to that is do not respond.
I actually wrote an article on ghosting for Love TV. My advice was if someone is ghosting you, stop talking to them. In the article, it went like, no, you don't understand. They're not talking to me. That's right. And now you don't talk to them.
Correct.
Yeah, this article made me sad because it's so sad and desperate. The fact is that if you are seeing someone and they have started to tune you out and you say something super outre, scandalous, you can get their attention for a little while.
They're always willing to be sensual and talk
Mhm.
about their dongs.
But that's not going to change the long game. These are solutions for the short game. There are so many dating articles, and a lot of the really classic, terrible ones are from magazines, but there's a lot of terrible advice going around on the internet, even today. And it's because they're clickbait. It's because when you are in this position that so many women find themselves in where the person you're interested in is not interested. And I'm sure men do it too, but I'm a woman, so I come from this perspective. How do I make the person interested in me who is not interested in me?
How do I make the person I'm interested in also interested in me?
And you can't. You cannot. It doesn't matter what you do to your hair. Doesn't matter what kind of dress you have on.
Have you not seen The Breakfast Club? Remember Ali Sheedy?
Oh, that's right. She
Took all that stuff off her face.
She
and
was
then-
simply wearing like a Holly Hobby, like white underwear outfit.
Yeah, that was weird. With a headband made, I think, from the same fabric. And suddenly Emilio Estevez is interested.
But Emilio Estevez in that film was isolated and very, very lonely. It used to be real life clickbait, which is it's on the cover of Cosmo. Let's pick it up. It's never good advice. And I think that internally we know this.
I don't think I did know it for a long, long time. I really thought that this is going to be the thing.
So I have a lot of advice to read and then we can discuss how good or bad it is. Quoting myself, okay? Quoting Virginia Jones in the article, Ghosted Lately? Here's the cure. The truth is, everyone wants to know how to change someone else's mind. If anyone had the answers on how to win someone back, they would be a multi-cajillionaire. They would be hiring Jeff Bezos to shine their shoes. Turning someone towards you who is turned away, that's the one thing no one can really do. But the cosmetics, fitness, and apparel industry all pretend like you can. They pad their margins based on the hope that we can control something we can't. I can't seem to forget you. Your win song stays on my mind. So that seems like a very smart person.
Is that advice?
Just that all of capitalism is victimizing us by trying to tell us that if you spend the right amount of money on the right stuff, you're going to get someone attracted to you who's not attracted to you. You're going to ensure that the person you're into is also into you.
I think it's sort of true in a way.
In what way?
Well, if I'm a mediocre white man and I buy a really nice car and maybe go to a stylist at Nordstrom and get her to get my hair looking good and my outfit looking good, I can probably attract someone that I wouldn't attract if I was just wearing my regular clothes.
Okay, agree. You can do self-care, but if you have gone on a couple dates with someone and they are not texting you back, no amount of win song is going to change that.
Tell me what a win song is.
Well, I don't feel bad talking about it because I know that most of our audience is around our age, but it was a commercial for a cheap drugstore cologne in the 80s. And the song goes, I can't seem to forget you. Your win song stays on my mind. No?
You just reminded me of a fake dating commercial on The Young Ones, where he says, I went out to the club and the girl just looked right through me. So I bought a pint of up and now she's going to screw me.
That's the center of it.
Referred to that. That would have made more sense for more people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm going to start with some vintage bad advice. This comes from Harvey Newcomb's article, How to Be a Lady, containing useful hints of the foundation and character in 1850.
Oh, brother. Strap in.
Do not joke around men. Do not allow yourself in the habit of joking with your companions. This tends to cultivate severe sarcasm, which is a bad habit of the tongue. I can't say these wrong.
I think that actually is good advice for dating cishet white men. Refer back to our women funny episode.
Right. Well, they don't want you to be funny. They don't want you to be funnier than them.
Well, they don't want you to make jokes at their expense, obviously.
Who does, I guess. But to what end am I going to seduce someone by being not myself?
I think a lot of women through history have done that.
But
You
then
pretend to be someone else, you have a loveless marriage, and you just get on with it.
Win-win. In 1850, he also advises women to dress conservatively and never wear dresses that are too tight. If you know anything of the black snake, you will recollect it assaults not only with deadly venom, but winds itself around its victim, stops the circulation of the blood. I need not tell you that the effects of tight dressing are similar. Yeah, I want to stop the circulation of men's blood.
Yeah, that's hashtag the point.
A different book called Woman, Her Sex and Love Life by William Josephus in 1927 told women that men are only attracted to women who wear pink underwear with lace and ruffles.
Accurate.
That the underwear should be spotlessly clean goes without saying, but every woman should wear the best quality underwear that she can afford, and the color should be preferably pink. And lace and ruffles, I am sorry to say, add to the attractiveness of underwear and are liked by the average man.
I mean, lacy pink underwear, who wears that? Oh, little girls, actually.
Gross.
So what you're telling me is that I need to get my hands on some stained blue underwear.
What I have found, despite what Victoria's Secret tells you, with few
Men
exceptions,
don't care.
they don't care.
Granny panties with holes in them, go for it. My period panties, let's do it.
When I was going out and I was a young person who was drinking, I would say to myself, okay, I'm going to wear terrible underwear so that I don't bring anybody home.
Did not work.
matter. From 1938, a newspaper article taught women how to behave on a date with a man. They advised not to touch their dates in public in any manner. Don't be familiar with your escort by caressing him in public. Any open show of affection is in bad taste. It usually embarrasses or humiliates him. Don't talk while dancing, for when a man dances, he wants to dance. Really?
Huh?
And try not to get too emotional. Don't be sentimental or try to get him to say something he doesn't want to by working on his emotions. Don't drink too much, as a man expects you to keep your dignity all evening. Drinking may make some girls seem clever, but most get silly. The last straw is to pass out from too much liquor. Chances are your date will never call you again.
Why does being drunk mean I don't have any dignity?
No dignity. An instructional dating video from 1949 claims that men are only looking for women who are fun. It's too bad Janice always acts superior and bored. She makes a fellow feel awkward and inferior. Eventually, he chooses a girl named Anne who knows how to have a good time and how to make the fellow relax.
This is solid advice. This is good. If you are
I've actually-
dating cishet white men, this is what they want. If you read any dating profile for more than 3 seconds, the first line is looking for someone fun.
I saw a TikTok from a lady who was a matchmaker, and she said the first thing that men ask for is tall.
What?
She's like, not everybody's the same, but a very huge component is tall. I don't know that that's ever been a
That
benefit.
does not match my lived experience.
In 1952, the Girlfriend and the Boyfriend magazine warned men against a woman who teases or, quote, shows off their charm to others. Almost all girls who are pretty flirt a little. It's the natural thing to do. But a girl who was a teaser is not content with simple, wholesome flirting. She goes out of her way to bait boys with obvious displays of her physical charm.
Mhm.
A teaser never wins in the long run, for no boy wants to marry a girl who enjoys showing off her charms to others. Do they mean boobs?
I think what they're saying is you have to be fun, but not too fun. And you only have to be fun with me.
Then we get some real mind trick. McCall's magazine in 1958 has an article called 129 Ways to Get a Husband. The magazine offers women advice on how to let him know you're there. One way to do so is stand in a corner and softly cry. Chances are good he'll come over to find out what's wrong.
Yes, this has always worked for me.
Another is get a sunburn.
I think I've actually read this. These are sounding very familiar.
The article also says, point out to him the death rate of single men is twice that of married men. If that is enough, start a whispering campaign on how sought after you are. So just lie.
This is good. This is top tier, solid advice. Isn't
All
there
right.
something about looking through obituaries? That's one of the things in the McCall's magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Look
Look through
through
obituaries and see who's widowed.
That's what I've been doing lately.
According to 1959's The Teen Girl's Book of Etiquette, the key to a successful relationship, and this one, unfortunately, is very good. Compliment a man repeatedly. To make him feel important, you have to forget your own desires for importance. Compliment him on his physical prowess, his mental acumen, his good looks, his virility. Lay it on thick. Stroke his ego. Let him know he's king.
Yes,
That's probably the best advice we've had so far.
that's very good.
Oh, here's don't be a sloot in the book. The man has one set of standards for himself and another for you. He may consider himself a real Don Juan for having succeeded in getting you to pet, but he will also decide that you're too easy. Always let a man help you. It is embarrassing to your escort if you refuse his services or beat him to the punch. If he offers help on the stairs or crossing the street, accept it, even if you don't need it. If he is a little slow in ordering your meal in a restaurant, don't turn to the waiter yourself. Don't order your own meal.
Pretend to be disabled. Carry crutches. Pretend to be mute.
So that's 1960. Let's fast forward to the 90s. And here's the rules, which we've talked about on this podcast before. Don't talk to a man first and let him take the lead. So that's the same advice.
30 years have passed, but the
Nothing
advice is the same. Because the system of patriarchy is identical. Nothing has changed.
Don't be a drill sergeant demanding he do this or that. Remember, those are your needs you're concerned about filling.
We don't bother with our own needs.
Don't
We
have
just allow men to do whatever they want.
Here's a list of 15 times women's magazines gave you the worst possible dating advice by Katie Mather. Number one is when they urge you to accuse his dad of hitting on you to lighten the mood, text him, was that your hand rubbing my leg under the table or your dad's?
What? Who's urging me to say that their dad is hitting on me?
This is 7 flirty texts to send your man. These are just ways to make your crush smile and make him crazy for you. When they advise you to share your freakiest spring break stories and eat cheese fries to leave him wanting more, at the end of the night, tease him with a juicy nugget of info. Next time, remind me to tell you about my crazy spring break in Daytona. He'll push you to spill, but wave him off and say, sorry, gotta get inside. It's that kind of story that needs telling over cheese fries.
Wow. So be a little slutty.
Guys all have the same interests and find the same things funny. That's true. So if a girl quotes anything from Family Guy or a Will Ferrell movie, she's hilarious. Or The Office.
Or American Dad, I think. Is that one? That's what all the men enjoy.
One of my first favorite creators on TikTok, Franity, said, I once watched all of Rick and Morty to try to connect with men in my generation. It wasn't worth it.
I don't understand that. I don't smoke weed. So why would I watch a whole show that's based on people who smoke weed?
This one is when they reassured you it's okay to stalk as long as you love him. Every day, a girl would stop by my lunch table to talk, said Michael, age 19. I got used to seeing her regularly and started looking forward to her dropping by. One day it hit me that I want to spend more time with her. Grind him down.
Well, this is how we make friends too. Remember, you have to have unplanned or seemingly unplanned run-ins with someone.
When they recommended putting up with jerk behavior because his tummy's probably grumbling. It's okay if he wants to end your walk early because he's hangry. He can show his weaknesses in front of you, which basically means when you're out on a hike and he wants to leave because he hasn't eaten, you can just do that.
I'm currently reading a book by Jennifer Weiner. It's called The Breakaway, and it's her newest book. It came out like this year, and she has this whole romantic story. This woman is a guide for a biking group, and they're riding their bikes through the breakaways. And this man doesn't do what she asks and pleads him not to do. And he ends up wrecking his bike, smashing his knees up and getting all bloody and falling off. And she is bandaging him. And this is when the feelings start. And I wanted to scream. I'm like, girl, you cannot do this. I know that you're in your 50s, but this trope doesn't work anymore.
This thing where you are an authority, you've been ignored, he hurts himself, and then you're like Florence Nightingale? No thanks.
And that's when he falls in love with you because you're a bang-maid-mom. Have you not heard this? This is what all the men want. They want a bang-maid-mom.
Bang-maid-mom is news to me. This is from The Secret to Getting Any Guy. And it's very similar to articles from the 40s. What not to get noticed for. Doing a keg stand while wearing a baby doll dress and no panties. bursting into tears anytime a guy you're talking to excuses himself to go grab another drink, flying into a homicidal rage when a bartender gives you a full calorie beer instead of a light beer. So this is don't be a borderline.
Don't have borderline personality disorder. Don't break into tears every time he goes and gets another beer. What?
That's what I do.
Maybe if he's on beer 20, I would burst into tears, but that would only be if he was my ex-husband.
No, I can't be alone for 1 second. When they urged you not to be yourself because only, quote, fun girls get the guy. The article is How to Be a Total Man Magnet. Once I started studying other women, I couldn't believe how negative some of us appear. When you're out on the town, you're supposed to be having fun. And any complaint, it's hot in here. Pessimism, there will definitely be another terrorist attack. Or snarky quip, look at that chick's belt, so 2002. Pretty much pokes holes in the fun girl aura you should be projecting.
It's that whole thing of, I want you to be my peace, right?
Right.
I hear this so much with men on the internet. I want you to be my peace, meaning I don't want any problems to come out of our conversations. I just want to feel peaceful when I'm around you. Dude, I'm a whole person. I'm not here to just entertain you. This is why you call a prostitute and go to Nevada for your girlfriend experience. She will bring you peace because she will not talk about terrorists unless you want to.
A friend of mine, a very funny comedian, Danielle Perez, was talking about how her dad is single now. She was talking to him about what he wants and what he's interested in. And he wants to date people who are a couple years older than her and her sister, but not too many.
Yeah, even though he's 30 years older than
Right.
her and her sister.
She also suggested something like, oh, you know, you could get to know a woman over dinner. And he was like, well, I don't want to hear about a bunch of people's problems.
Exactly.
Okay, don't date people.
I feel the same, Daniel Perez's dad. This is why I'm not dating anymore.
And then this is also my favorite. And this is from 17 Ultimate Guide to Guys. What he thinks about flirting, dating, relationships, and you. Watch what you text. Everyone knows that I miss you really means I'm obsessed with you. And that good morning means I couldn't stop thinking about you last night. Don't drop these phrases when you're only trying to be sweet and flirty.
Well, then why does every man on Tinder open with good morning every freaking
Good morning,
day?
gorgeous. Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning, beautiful. What's on tap for today?
As we progress through the years, the last example I have, this is a list that Glamour magazine published not in 1939, not in 1960, but in 2015.
Up to date.
Here's ways to make a man obsessed with you. Stocking the fridge with his favorite drinks. Bonus points. Bring him back to fraternity days by handing him a cold one as he steps out of the shower.
Bang-maid-mom.
Yep, this one's even worse. Make him a snack after sex. It doesn't have to be a gourmet meal. A simple grilled cheese or milk and cookies will do. Bang, maid, mom.
Bang-maid-mom. Bang chef mom.
Oh, God. I think this one is nice. Bragging about him to your friends, family. Proclamations of pride will make his chest puff out and his heart swell. I think it's nice to say nice things about your partner.
I don't. I try to only discount.
Just like bring him to the first
Hey,
family
you know
dinner.
that. He's a real POS.
Yeah, he's a real loser, but his truck works. So here we are.
He hasn't had a job in 5 years, but who's counting? You know what I mean?
And then this is very Cosmo. Answering the door in a negligee, or better yet, naked. That's a very awkward time with a mailman.
It's a weird time when the guy with the neighborhood circular comes over.
Be open to whatever he wants to try, in the bedroom and out. An open mind is attractive no matter your playground. If we go by Dan Savage's Be Game, it's nice to consider when someone asks you for something, just whatever. I'm just a sex robot. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm a bang-maid-mom.
Spitting out stats for his favorite team. Showing an interest in his favorite players will earn you points on and off the field. You're making up a person that you're not.
Yes, this is good advice. I'm not discounting anything that anyone has said so far. I think all of it is good. If you just want to find a basic dude.
If you want to trap a dude who doesn't know you and you don't know him and just get a ring on the finger.
You don't need a quality relationship. You're just looking for a guy that will date you. This is all solid advice for getting a guy to date you.
Make a big deal out of his favorite meal. This is sad. Does he like hot dogs cut up into boxed mac and cheese? Serve it on a fancy tray in bed to really see him smile. Yeah.
This is what I do with my 10-year-old also.
Giving a massage. Happy ending, completely optional. In fact, a foot rub works just fine. I think it is nice to massage your partner, but I also would like a massage.
I don't touch men.
Taking him back to third grade with a gentle tease over anything from how you'll dominate him on the basketball court to the weird way he styled his hair.
Pretend that you are a man. This is good advice.
My problem with all of this advice, especially the slut shaming advice. or the slut encouraging advice. That's why we're all crazy. Because half of the articles are like, well, cover up,
But then answer the door naked.
but answer the door naked. When do I decide when we enter slut mode?
You just cover your neck and then the rest, you just wear a dickie and nothing else.
Actually, one of my hottest dates, I answered the door in only a neck brace. I said, I think you banged my
serious?
spine out of joint. Let's do it again and see if it resets.
Series of dickies. I enjoy answering the door with.
Again, where are you getting dickies in the year of our Lord 2025? Answer,
Apparently,
Amazon.
Amazon.com offers all options to a lady who enjoys a dickie.
Well, I'm getting a little self-conscious because we've mentioned our mother this episode, but we haven't
mentioned our dad. Well, I was going to say, I remember when dad was single again, it was so gross. He thought that if he didn't date women my age, he was solid.
Yeah, I remember I was 29 and he was dating a woman who was 30. He's like, it's pretty good.
He had a serious relationship with a woman who was the same age as your husband. And I said, Dad, don't you think that's kind of gross? I don't understand. How do you make this okay? And he's like, well, Jenny and Bobby just like older guys.
This came up at work. We were talking about butt dialing. I was telling a story about the most awkward butt dial I ever had, which is my phone was ringing. It was my dad. And I should have known that something was up because my dad never called me. It's not my birthday. P.S. He didn't call me on my birthday.
It doesn't sound like he's having a heart attack.
I think he was in his car and the phone was in the cup holder because he was having a first date. I did not want to hang up and I listened to 20 minutes of first date conversation with my dad.
What was his first date game like?
It was dreadful. Talking about himself, talking about his work, talking about things that he liked. Was he
Not asking any questions? No. Why would you ask a question?
He's doing a PowerPoint presentation about here's who I am. And will you hand me a cold beer when I get out of the shower?
I find you physically attractive, and that's all that matters.
All of this advice will get you attention.
It probably will get you a relationship.
But what does it mean when you're having a relationship with someone who doesn't know who you are and doesn't care to know?
That's called every relationship I've ever been in.
So we've given a lot of amazing advice, especially to our listeners who are single and who want to have a relationship with someone who they believe that she is a brainless sex robot who makes mac and cheese with hot dogs cut up in it. Laura, what are your final thoughts on this topic?
I think that our listeners should read my book, Don't Date Dirtbags. Probably out now.
You better hustle on that.
I'm just going to wait to release this episode until the book is done. I don't think the problem is with the advice. I think the problem is with how spot on the advice is.
Society.
All roads lead to patriarchy. This is the same crap we talk about every week. We don't like women. Women aren't important. We don't value women. We don't make them important. We don't think about themselves as a unique snowflake, each one of us. We are just a thing, an object to be manipulated and used. Ultimately, if you know that, you believe that, and you buy into it, then this is great advice. I don't think you're going to be able to have a great relationship, but I'm having a hard time believing that any woman can have a great relationship with a cishet man. I'm just really struggling with that right now. I had a client this week who's dating someone new, and he's doing a lot of dumb dong stuff. She's saying, oh, is he a sociopath? Is he? No, he's just a man.
Just a regular man.
I have not met a man who isn't like this.
And when people talk about sexual interest and sexuality, gender stuff being a choice, man,
there's no way I would make this.
You think I would choose this?
Now, this is what I was thinking. I was working with a lady who prefers the company of other women. And I was thinking, what I need is the mind of a hot lesbian woman in the body of a burly man with a beard.
Especially if he's Irish.
He can be Irish and his name can be Garen. He has a new podcast I'm excited to listen to.
Well, he's delicious.
Aren't we all? The problem is our society. It is not the advice that we give.
The advice that we give is terrible, but it's accurate for where we're living. Do you think I don't want to be in an emotionally supportive relationship between two equals, peers who care for each other? I would love that, but I'm straight.
Men have to do a lot of unpacking. They need to figure some stuff out. I think it's possible, but it's not probable. So, Virginia, what are your final thoughts on this topic?
Big picture, this is great advice if you want to be in the relationship with someone who doesn't know you and doesn't like you. And I've seen this happen in my friend group many times. 3-5 years in, the woman goes, why are we doing this? You don't even like me. You don't even know me. Why are we here? Well, you were interested in dating me. So then we did. And then we got married. You wanted to get married. So we got married. I don't know.
I hear this a lot on TikTok about people who are married to men who don't like them. And you're saying, well, why would a man marry someone he didn't like? Well, because he's looking for a bang-maid-mom. She met those criteria. He
Right.
doesn't really like her as a human, but she's giving him mac and cheese and handies.
I got a comic texted to me this morning, and it's a comedy trope. So the comic is on stage. He's a white man. Why wouldn't he be? And he just says, I hate my wife. And then there's 3 panels of just the audience of men laughing. And yeah, you hate your wife because you didn't care about her when you were dating. You married her because she fit your
physical mold and requirements.
And then she found that she had needs or wanted something from you or wanted to be supported. So you hate her because she lied. They act like all they want to do is give you mac and cheese and blowjobs, but then they don't want to.
They want other stuff too. They also want to have meaningful conversations. They want to be known.
Or
they want to be respected. But I think stage 1 of every relationship is probably a lot of men projecting their junk onto you and trying to make you be their bang-maid-mom.
And to be truthful, I think early in relationships, when you get those hormones flowing, when you get the doves, you do want to present the best version of yourself. It's when you tell people that you really like hiking, or you usually don't eat anything sweeter than a raisin bagel. And many times it's aspirational, right? This is the person I would like to be. But eventually, you're just 2 people trying to get through life together. And if you are not known, if the person does not care who you are in particular, I don't want to be there.
And I think also if the person's paradigm is that you're not supposed to be a person, you're supposed to be like my mom. Because
in service of me.
The relationship I have with my son is not like any relationship I've ever had with a dating partner. I tolerate so much BS from him that I would never tolerate from a man I was dating. That's the baseline. You have to be like my mom, who doesn't have any needs, doesn't have any emotions, just kind of doing what I want and going along with it and occasionally getting irritated with me.
So this is how we wind up in relationships where you're making each other crazy because the woman wasn't honest about her needs and wants, and the man doesn't understand why he's not the center of her universe. One thing that I'm trying in my current relationship is I'm trying not to be a pleaser and do everything he wants all the time, be quiet about my own needs. And it's a struggle because this is who I was raised to be in this society.
Me too. That was something that I was having a conversation with a friend. We were sort of doing a review of our last relationships and why they were so bad. One of my big things is my next relationship, if I ever have one again, is going to be 50-50 in all things. You're going to meet my needs just as much as I meet yours. You're going to support me just as much as I support you. You're going to X, Y, and Z. Most of my relationships have been 80-20, where I'm doing 80% of the emotional, physical planning, all the labor, and you're doing 20.
And you're so glad to have that 20.
Because my whole life, people have been telling me that this is the key to happiness.
I think that if we're just being a armchair football
or actual therapists,
I think it looks like the amount of time that a woman can suppress all of her needs and her actual personality is around 5 years, 5 to 7.
That feels long. I don't think I could do that. And I think this is why I haven't been very successful with men.
Right.
Because I lead with my personality, and my personality is not any of the things that basically it's not any of the things that you described. I don't do any of those things. I'm loud. I drink too much. I'm annoying.
You keep saying what?
I keep saying what? I do all the things. I'm the center of attention. I make jokes at their expense. I do all the things wrong.
Laura, if people want to find out more about you or the podcast on the internet, where would you send them?
They can go to alldickies.com. They want to get as many personalized dickies as they want. They can fit in a drawer.
mynewdickie.co.
You can find me on the internet at my professional website, lauraryan.org. You can find me on my unprofessional TikTok account. I am Laura Ryan. If you want to listen to all the episodes of the podcast back to back without logging in anywhere, you can go to mysistersatherapist.com. If you would like to find out more about us on Instagram, you can find us at My Sister's a Therapist Instagram account. Virginia, if people are interested in your witty repartee and they want to hear more of it, how would they do that?
You can find me at www.bedinia.com. Also, my TikTok is Bedinia, and you can just Google Virginia Jones comedian and see what happens. If you want to make me feel good, write a review of comedian Virginia Jones into an AI machine and then send it to us at hello@mysistersatherapist.com.
Even better, put it on Apple Podcasts and I'll be able to read it.
Hey, Gemini, write a review of mysistersatherapist.com, then copy paste that.
When you say mysisterstherapist.com, what you mean is My Sisters a Therapist podcast?
Yes, I do. Yeah, just say, hey, Google AI, write a review of the podcast, My Sister's a Therapist, and then just send that to us. We will copy paste it. We don't care. We won't know.
We don't know. Just put it on Apple Podcasts so that we can be boosted, even though we are bloated with 30,000 downloads.
We're rich with downloads. If you are interested in hiring us, you can see how good we are at talking about men and women and dating and all the things that make us people. It doesn't have to stop there. We will answer questions in front of your car dealership.
We will stand at the gates of the Liquid Death headquarters and we will just tell everyone how much we love it.
Yeah, and how our podcast is usually fueled by Liquid Death.
If you would like us to stand by the sample tray at Costco, we'll do it.
Write us at hireus@mysistersatherapist.com. Laura, speaking of positive reviews, this is the part of the podcast where you usually read a review for our listeners. Do you have one this week?
I do. It's actually written by a man. It's called Therapy, ? Therapy by Scott K. These shows are funny, entertaining, and might even accidentally have some real therapeutic value. Thanks, Scott. My God. The format works well with one person, Virginia, being the more mildly informed layperson. Thanks, Scott. Then we can identify our questions.
Accurate.
With the other, Laura, being the professionally informed person who actually works in the field. Together, they explore some really great topical subjects in a way that will definitely draw and keep your attention. Will you find all the answers here? ? Certainly not. Scott, you haven't listened to all the episodes, so how would you know? But will you be entertained and possibly find some answers here? I can assure you that if you don't, you might need your head examined. Scott, that was a corny dad joke, but I'm here for it.
Thank you, Scott. And thank you to all our listeners. Thank you for helping us cross over to 30,000. We are energized. We have liquid gold flowing in our veins. And so in closing, we would like to leave you with the words of Billy Ray Valentine, Capricorn, when he said, we can make it, baby.
Me and you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.